In this video, we're going to learn about grading, which helps our fabric lay flat and looks professional. So we're going to start by just sewing 5/8 seam allowance on, we'll have 2 sample squares, put them together, and we'll sew 5/8 seam allowance down the edge. So I just find the 5/8. Sorry, let me adjust you. Right over here, find the groove, and then I will sew down and back stitch. And sew down the edge, and back stitch here, trim my threads. We have the 5/8 seam allowance. Now, what we're going to do is called grading. And let's say that I had, this is how my fabric is going to lay eventually. Instead of pressing it open, it's going to be pressed to the side. And I'm just going to kind of finger press that right now. Well, it's just bulky right here, right? When we have it's going 3 layers of fabric to 0 layer, or to 1 layer of fabric really fast. So we're going to kind of transition that. And something to keep in mind is called widest to the world. So this is what's going to be seen by the world. So I want this piece to be the widest, right? And then this one to be next widest, and this one to be the shortest. So the one that I want the shortest, I'm going to trim to be 1/4 of an inch. I'm going to take my seam gauge and just mark it in a couple spots where it's at 1/4 of an inch right here. Now that I have those 1/4 inch markings, I can go ahead and actually just cut along the 1/4 inch markings. So that this, and I'm only cutting through 1 layer. See how that was just like one piece, and then I still have my other seam allowance here. So I'm going to double check that that's 1/4 of an inch. Looks pretty good. This other side got a little bit longer, so we'll just trim that to be nice and neat. And then this next one I want to be 3/8 of an inch. So it's going to be 1/8 of an inch longer, right? So here's my 1/4 inch, and then I'm going to go 1/8 more. So it'll just kind of have more of a transition, kind of like a stair effect. It'll just be a little bit smoother than a sheer 3 layers of fabric to 1 layer of fabric. So I'm going to go ahead here and I'll just mark 3/8 in a few spots. And then I'm going to go ahead and cut those back here. So here we have our complete grading sample where we have 1/4 inch, 3/8 of an inch, and then the fabric that you see the widest to the world, right? So that is grading. Helps everything lay flat and look professional. Now that we've done our grading and we have our 1/4 inch and then 3/8 of an inch little seam allowances, we're going to just iron this whole thing out. And I want my seam allowance to go up right here, right? I want this 1/4 inch to be on the inside, right? If this is the world, remember, widest to the world, we have this, and then we want our next biggest piece and then our smallest piece. So we want all those stacked up on top of each other. And then I'm just going to go ahead and press those. Just a couple up and down motions. Maybe flip it over and do the other side so that everything lays really nice and flat.